is something a bit otherworldly about Bonnie Wright, which is only fitting Gielvan that the 18-year-old Londoner has been playing Ginny Weasley in the Harry Potter FMS for half her life. What began as a tiny role in the first film, as Harry's best mate Ron's ITE sister, morphed in the latest installment, Harry Potter and the Hate-Blood Prince, into something much larger, when Ginny became Harry's love interest, the two sharing a kiss that has made Bonnie the envy of adolescent gifts the world over. She arrives for our interview in East London without any of the fanfare that accompanies most starlet entrances. Wearing a pinstriped, buttoned-up, men's style shirt tucked into distressed denim shorts, cinched with an Hermes belt and teamed with plucky black patent flats, she treads the line perfectly between Hogwarts geek and movie star chic. Tiny and bird-key, with a sheet of thick auburn hair, pale frecty skin and intelligent blue eyes, she is pretty and endearingly emist. The way it was done was very romantic, she says of that kiss. Daniel, Radcliffe, and have always been good fiends, which I think worked in our favor. I's the only love scene I've filmed, but imagine you had to do one with some random person that you had no relationship with, would feel very strange. It makes the on-screen relationship make more sense. This idea that we've known each other, and in a sense grown up together, off-screen, as well as on. Dan is so energetic and really good fun, and the way he works is extremely professional. She speaks with the wise, considered tone of someone far older than 18, probably due, at East in Pete, to having spent so much of her time around grown-ups on the Harry Potter set in Hertfordshire. My character initiates the kiss, she says, which is great because it gives this power to gifts and shows that's okay to be the one who makes the approach. Bootin' real Faye, Bonnie insists that, despite setting tongues wagging when she stepped out with Twilight star Jamie Campbell Bower at the Saatchi Gallery recently, she is single and making no such approaches to Bower, with whom she's just fiends, or anyone else. She has previously joked that she's married to Harry Potter, and, given that J.K. Rowling wrote the later books after the first few had already been timed, she's no doubt flattered that the part of Ginny has evolved so nicely. Well, it's hard to know if what she's seen on the screen has influenced the storyline, she says modestly, but I am thrilled that I've been given the chance to sink my teeth in and show what I can do. Fluid, in the last one, as though, really gotta create something worthwhile. And so did the ITES, who lauded her breakout performance. But as Bonnie's presence in the series has grown, so too has the public interest in her. Coping with fame has been strange, she admits. You can be on holiday abroad, in a tiny village in the middle of nowhere, and someone will recognize you, and you think, how far has this spread? Because fame came to her so young, she's been a bit oblivious to it, she says. Then, all of a sudden, became a bit daunting. Be out shopping, and all it takes is for one person to recognize me and it can get scary. Bonnie's Jumi from London Schoolgate to blockbuster leading ladyist stuff of most GD's fantasies. The daughter of Gary Wright and Shella Teague, of Mayfair jewelers Wright and Teague, she was raised in hip Shoreditch, East London, amid artists and other creative types. One didn't really know people with 9-to-5 jobs, she recalls. When it became known that the Harry Potter books were to be translated to the big screen, 'twas Bonnie's older brother Lewis, now 21, who suggested that his little sis, who'd never previously thought about acting, had something of Hogwarts about her. He'd read the first 2 books and said, "You really remind me of Ginny." I was only 9 at the time and didn't know who any of the characters were, but read the first one and was hooked. When my mum came home from work, said, please can you get me an audition for Harry Potter?" So Sheila cracked down the PR for the publisher, who liked Bonnie's look, and that was that. To begin with, she says, we weren't even acting, we were just being ourselves. Most of us hadn't acted before, we were hired because we had the right image. We've grown up together and we are like a big family. Everyone is lovely, and I think we're all very inquisitive. When we come back to set after a break in filming, I just like coming back to school. How did it wonder, to come of age on the Harry Potter set? People always ask us that, and the answer is always that none of us has experienced anything different. We always had tutors on set, but when wasn't filming, attended an independent school. King Alfred's in Hampstead, North London, where there were lots of children of people involved in the arts, so didn't stand out, which made the whole experience easier for me. And living at home has also helped me to feel normal. Haven't ever felt they had to divide my actress life from the rest of my life. Whenever I've been firming, they known that would come back to my own bed at the end of each day. Have lots of close friends from school, as well as the fiends I've made through acting. Bonnie says that she and her 19-year-old co-star Emma Watson, who plays Hermione and who has been the more high-profile of the two actresses to get on well and even stay in touch in between filming. There is no rivalry, she says. Emma has always loved art and English, me, and that's what she's gone to study at Brown University in America. We share a lot of interests, including fashion, and this brings us to the official reason for our interview. Bonnie recently agreed, for no fee, to be an ambassador for Made By, a not-for-profit, labeling initiative which aims to trace the origins of clothes to ensure that they are manufactured in a sustainable way and without exploitation. Brands that comply, or leave a clean trail, are given the Made By seal. These include emerging names such as Mark Liu, Eden, Claudia Strater and Ronnie Jones. I think many people think of ethical fashion as a bit kooky, but the great thing about Made By is that it shows that it can be really on trend and use gorgeous materials, says Bonnie, gesturing to the rack of stunning clothes that she will be wearing for our photoshoot, all of which bear the Made By seal. So many people are doing these quick fix ethical ideas. One t-shirt made from organic cotton, she adds dismissively, but with Made By you've got to commit to the process through and through, which is the only thing that's going to break the cycle of cheap labor and unsustainable materials. In my family we've always been into ethical stuff and recycling, she explains. I think it's very important for the awareness to begin at a young age, 80 that it sets in and becomes a habit. It's been great to find something, can be a pat of that joins my interests in fashion and sustainability, and I'm hoping that as a younger spokeswoman, can encourage my generation to embrace this idea. This project clearly appeals to Bonnie's emist nature. Get no sense of her just jumping on the green bandwagon, like so many celebrities, yet, can't help but think how grown up, and worthy, she sounds talking about I. She is polite, unprickly, and looks me in the eye throughout our interview. Find her impossible not to like, but, can scarcely believe, am talking to someone 15 years younger than me and so much more sorted than I was at 18, to lighten things up, inquire if she would ever consider designing her own, Bonnie Wright for, label. Th's is clear a subject on which she feels passionate, and she responds with uncharacteristic bristle. I am really not for famous people who design a line for a company, when you know I's not really them creating it but a team of designers, especially when there are so many talented people who've taken the time to go and study fashion, she says adamantly. And how about fronting a campaign, as Emma Watson is doing for Burberry? I developed a relationship with a particular company or designer, then maybe, she says. Her favorite labels include Comme des Garçons, Yves Saint Laurent, Miu Miu, Prada and Christopher Kane, as well as up-and-coming names such as Richard Nicol, whom she supported at London Fashion Week. With such a creative family background, her parents met at Central St. Martin's in London. Her brother is a designer. Bonnie always imagined herself forging a career in fashion, art or design. Bolt, having bagged 3 as an AB in her EVALs, in English literature, art, photography and design technology, she has just started a degree in FIM at London University of the Arts. Was a hard choice, because I'm indecisive and find it hard to close doors on other options. I'll always be interested in fashion, but they definitely fallen in love with FIM. Not quite sure if end up behind or in front of the camera, she says, but because the scale of Harry Potter is so massive, just hundreds and hundreds of cast and crew, I'd love to do something totally different next. Maybe a small independent project where the whole team worked really closely together, something creative, not just chumming out a film to put bums on seats. Amazingly, she manages to say this without sounding ungrateful. Just matter ol fact, she adds, I've always admired actresses like Kate Blanchett and Nicole Kidman, especially for her work in Moulin Rouge and The Hours, but I've never really fixated on anyone and thought, I want to do exactly what they've done. I really just want to do my own thing for now, though. Bonnie is firmly focused on shooting the final Harry Potter installment, The Deathly Hallows, which will be released in 2 parts, in November 2010 and July 2011, and in which Ginny and Harry get married and have a family. When I read the book, was shocked that my character tummed into something so big, she says. Bonnie admits to feeling wistful as the end draws near. They wrap next June. We've been so busy filming it that there hasn't really been time to think about the fact that this is the last one. It will be very strange when I's over and very sad. I don't think any of us thought about it until the recent press promotion, when people started saying, the end is near. And we were, like, itis? When we're filming you forget about the millions of people waiting for it to come out. And then when you tum up at a premiere and see thousands of people, you go, whoa. But I sense real excitement in Bonnie about leaving her alter ego Ginny Weasley behind and moving on. I's only too easy to imagine her as a leading light in RD independent FMS. Know what Ginny would do in every situation, and relate to her because we've both got older brothers, she says. But I think all of us who've been there from the beginning have got to the point where we want to do something different, be someone different. People always ask, is this going to be the biggest thing in your career? And while, don't think there's ever been anything like Harry Potter, that's gone on for so long and maintained its popularity, think the answer, for me and for all of us, is that more challenging experiences lie ahead. Find out more about Made by at macy-by.org. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is out on DVD,